Welcome back to Talk Tonight. Bullying in school is a recurring topic throughout central New York schools. Tonight, a mother in North Syracuse at the school district there will ask the school board to take further action following a fight at Roxborough Road Middle School that happened earlier in the summer, the end of last school year. 13-year-old Anna Chop suffered a concussion in June because of it, in a fight with another girl whose identity has not been released. Jim Kenyon's been reporting on this story for the last several months, on and off. The attacker was suspended but is expected to return to class next week. We want to know what you think about this. Where should the line be drawn? Should a student who's allegedly assaulted another be allowed to return to school? And what is an alternative punishment in this case? And we bring up this issue now as Jim is covering the school board meeting. He'll have another story for us in just a few minutes and be there tonight to see how this turns out. But aside from the specifics of this case, this does bring up this issue of how long does the punishment last? Is it a forever, is it a life sentence if a student is involved in some kind of altercation, spends some time away from school? There are cases where students are not allowed back in school.
Right. I mean, I guess that you would have to look to the district, and it would depend on the severity of the situation. You know, that's how they would, look at it, and maybe expulsion would be an appropriate punishment depending on the severity of it.
I think in this case, to be specific, I think in this case the district has decided its course of action, has stood by, despite Jim's reporting, which has been spurred on by the mother of this child, who is so upset and feels that her daughter's I think she feels that her daughter's life is somehow at risk after the beating she took the last time around. So the mom has some significant concerns. The district, though, has shown no propensity to back away from doling out the punishment that it doled out, and then now being ready to bring the child back into school because this kid has served her time.
Part of the problem with making a judgment about this case from the outside looking in is that there are privacy issues at stake.
For sure.
And students, regardless of which side of the case that they're on, are entitled to that privacy. Like in this case, we don't know the name of the student who was the offender and has served this punishment. We do know the one who was harmed by it because her mother came forward. But that makes it difficult to reasonably judge any school district, I think, from the outside looking in, and often leads to misinformation being out there amongst the public through the rumor mill. Not necessarily referring to Jim's story, because he did work off the official report from this, and his details are accurate, but you know how students and parents will talk and say, here's what happened, and the truth gets distorted. That makes it tough to judge.
Well, listen, we were all middle school students once, and so I think that we can all say that, going back into a school, once you've even just been made fun of, is tough enough. But once you've been the victim of, a violent attack like this, it has to be particularly scary for a kid.
Well, then your story has been on CNY Central.
True.
It's on the internet, and we know how things live and breathe and sometimes fester on the internet. So the parents in this case had to have weighed significant pros and cons
about going public,
about making that first phone call to Jim Kenyon in the first place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we're sort of, we're thinking of them too. I mean, that for a situation with your child to rise to the level where you think this should be part of a Jim Kenyon story, you're thinking, wow, there was some significant
and there are occasions
anxiety.
Where people will contact our newsroom where we will say, well, this isn't the way you want to go, at least not yet. You should be following the procedure within the district, and it's not till they are feeling that they're not getting any satisfaction that it rises to that level.
And I think too, maybe, in terms of a punishment, you talk about how a district handles the situation, perhaps maybe the bullier should be going out maybe doing assemblies and going out to other school districts and talking about, what they have learned from this, from this case, and maybe how other kids can learn from their mistake.
It's so complex, and we really do need to point out that we don't know what the district is officially going to do about this.
But Jim, we'll be at the meeting tonight. We'll see how people respond to the action that has been taken. As always, thank you for participating in our conversation online, on our website, and on our Facebook page. You can post your comments on Facebook at any time. You can also send us a tweet if you'd like, at CNY Central on Twitter.